Hi, Uncle John here, and I am playing a game called Zen Koi 2, and this is just a quick tutorial on how I go about ascending koi. I'm actually recording this for a friend in the game who's new to it as sort of a guide. Um, so I usually do not worry about overkill. Um, I wasn't sure if my voice was being recorded while I was recording my screen on this, and it turns out that it wasn't. So here I was actually trying to get to the pattern that I was working on, which is this aurora, um, and demonstrate that I had all of this blue color, this buru color, um, in this, and so I'm trying to ascend these koi, and I've ascended two of them, and I am working on this Kiburu, and I just don't care about overkill that much while I'm doing an ascension, because it's just a little bit of extra experience points. But you do want to try and collect the koi that you need as quickly as possible. Um, this circle is actually coming from where I place my stylus or finger on the screen. Um, and there I see the target prey. Um, and so we go ahead and we finish that off and we go to the next gate. And then while I'm going to the gate, I almost always do my attributes. When I'm swimming a fish explicitly to ascend it, like when I have finished a rare color or if I am working on a common that I don't need or whatever, then I only focus on movement statistics. If I am breeding a koi to breed it, I do differently. I usually try to go at kind of a angle when I'm swimming. Um, I usually try to go towards the top or bottom corner, uh, and I alternate which ones that I go through to make the most of the pond. And I don't usually check on my gem requirements because every time you get into a new expansion of the pond, it only spawns koi that you need in Zen Koi 2. In Zen Koi 1, it's a little bit different. In Zen Koi 1, it has a set list of koi that's going to spawn, or not koi, a set list of prey that it's going to spawn for each pond, and there are more koi spawned, not there are more bait spawned than what you require. So Zen Koi 2 is very nice that way. I actually liked the way that Zen Koi 1 did it better when I first started doing Zen Koi 2 because I'd already sunk a lot of my mental processes into keeping track of which prey I needed. Um, but I think that overall, the way that Zen Koi 2 does it is certainly easier. Um, and since the initial release of Zen Koi 2, there have been a lot of quality of life improvements. Um, so I do now prefer Zen Koi 2, but I am still playing Zen Koi 1 as well. So we just tore through that and fairly quickly while I was talking about that. Um, and then I go and I check on my eggs from time to time. Since the reason that I am doing this in the first place is to be able to hatch an egg because I had full eggs and didn't have all of them hatched. And after I finish recording this voiceover, I'm going to go hatch that egg and record my breeding strategy, but I'm only going to have uh, one egg that I need to collect, so I'm not going to go do the full breeding strategy, but I will touch on the salient points. Um, so that is that. This fourth um, this fourth gate is one of the weirdest ones because you have to collect 4 gems of one type, but only 1 gem of another type. And I think that this is kind of an intentional nod to the 4th gem in Zen Koi 1. In Zen Koi 1, you actually had to collect two combined gems, which cost 2 gems each of 1 gem, and you had to collect 2 of the other. And then they took away one of the less collected gems, which I just thought was kind of wonky when I saw it, but I figured that it was not something to be stressed out about. And um, when they added the daily quests, which was a long time ago, um, they got rid of the big gems and little gems, or they might have actually never had the big gems in Zen Koi 2. Um, I don't completely remember. That was, after all, more than 5 years ago. More than, I think it might have been like 7 or 8 years ago. Um, so okay, maybe more. It was a long time ago. That's what I know. Um, so we're going ahead and we are going to the next gate. And I'm going to go ahead and distribute my points. And as you can see, I do have a preference um, for the whatchamacall the agility, a slight preference for agility over speed, and that's because agility gives you lunge and it also gives you a much tighter turning radius, which generally makes it easier to catch prey. There are a few pieces of prey like the bluefish that look like darts and swim like snakes, where speed can be very important. But if you're really having a problem with that, you can use boosts, or you can just get good. Um, and I did go ahead and get good, but I also maxed out my speed because I saw that I had leveled and was still working on that. Um, and by use boosts, I mean the boosts that you get by um, from daily gifts and stuff like that, or that you can buy for pearls. I generally prefer to save my pearls for love boosts and koi slots, um, and I don't spend very much on buying pearls. While I was actually doing this, I had the recording button placed over where the pearls are, so I didn't see how many I had. But I only had 57 anyway, and I was not going to spend them, I recently got a new Koi slot, which um, once you're out of the very early game, a Koi slot costs 1,000 pearls. So I noticed then that I had completed everything for this next gate. Um, and I started swimming to the next gate. One thing that I did see a lot of complaints about when Zen Koi 2 came out was that in Zen Koi 1 you would need to catch, well, you would need to eat 3 rockfish to get a gem, and you would need to do that in 2 levels. And in Zen Koi 2, you need to eat 3, 4, or 5 rockfish to get a gem, and sometimes you have to do it in 2. And people thought that that was an increase in the number of rockfish that you needed to eat. Except that what they forget is that you had to get 2 large gems to get through those 2 ponds, and so you needed 2 of the small gems for each large gem, so you wound up having to do 12, um, 12 rockfish per level, unless you got gems out of the surprise flowers. And in Zen Koi 2, you only need 2 gems because there are no small gems or large gems. And so the absolute most number of rockfish that you can need to get are 4 in to open the 5th gate, and 5 to open the 6th gate, which is 2 gems each. That's a total of 18 rockfish as your bare minimum. And in Zen Koi 1, you have to get 12 in each, so that's 24 rockfish if you don't get a flower gem. So Zen Koi 1 is actually much less forgiving with the rockfish. And I do get some of my very least favorite of the fish in this run. I have to get I have rockfish, I have key lime piefish, and both types of puffer fish, and the blue um, the blue beetles. Now, once I have completed an attribute, of course you can't put anything else in to an attribute, so I finished off speed there, and my dump stat's rarity, but I go ahead and fill out rarity just because I prefer to go ahead and complete um, complete all of my point assignments. So that, though, is just a personal preference. Now, one thing that I do in these later levels is I actually go really hard on the overkill, because it really doesn't matter, and I have a supposition that it will only spawn in new prey when old prey has been despawned either by being eaten or being distanced out. So I eat everything, uh, but I do try to focus on what I need first. Uh, but I will get anything that I can. Um, and one of the advantages to mostly going vertical is that um, you have more screen real estate to see the blue beetles and the red pufferfish on um, these last zones, and it is a total distance that gets the blue beetles to wake up. And so, as you can see there, it takes actually getting them off the screen to do it when you're going mostly horizontal. But if you can go vertically, then they are much more forgiving, and you can see when they wake up. Okay, so there's one. Um, I get a little bit of tunnel vision, and I don't always see when more more prey are on the screen. Where my stylus is going is basically where my attention is too. So that finishes off this gate, and then it's fairly fast to just dump all of my point assignments into rarity. I'm going to need to go get some water out of the other room in just a minute because this is getting to be thirsty work. But we are moving on to the last gate. Um, and for the last gate, I will have several excuse me, several prey that I'm not super duper fond of. Um, the purple merlin fish are, that's what I call the teleporting fish, is purple merlin fish because I think that they look like wizards. Um, the thing is that once you lock onto them, even when they teleport, you stay locked on. But because they teleport, they can be very hard to find. Um, that time I deliberately unlocked from the merlin fish um, to get the red puffer fish because the red puffer fish slow you down, and they are intentionally coded to be jerks. Their AI is designed to hinder the player as much as possible. So I go after them whether I need them for a gem or not. So um, that's kind of my strategy on them. And I don't need any of the double-ended fish anymore. Uh, but I will still gobble them up so that the fish that I do need will spawn more. And there, that demonstrated how weird the algorithm for if they puff up or not really is. Uh, I don't really hold on the gem screen for long enough for even me to read it when I'm not the one playing. So I don't know exactly what I had there. I know that I need more of the Merlin fish to get the next gem, but I don't know how many of those I still needed. But enough that I was willing to overkill them. And I did not see that Merlin fish earlier in the upper right corner while I was playing. So nearly done. And that finishes that gem. But I know that I need more for the last gem, and I massively overkilled on the red angelfish. Which one of my Facebook groups calls devilfish. And that is it. That is all the way. Not all the way from egg to dragon, but that is my strategy for ascending. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And as soon as I get this uploaded, I will get started on the next one. Thank you all very much, and I hope that each and every one of you has a wonderful day.